Well, it's official. The year 2020 is going to have its own history textbook at least the size of a Game of Thrones novel.
Correction. This year is a Game of Thrones novel.
So many twists and turns.
Yeah, let's just hope it ends a lot better.
Stop. Just stop.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if we saw dragons this year. But until Daenerys shows up, we're gonna hold down the fort with some much needed inspiration.
We know that with everything going on in the world right now, it's hard to stay positive. We understand it's a difficult time for so many of you.
But we're here to bring a little bit of positivity to your screens by sharing some of the good things that are happening around the world and right here at Seneca College. I'm Afshan.
And I'm Devin, and this is the Silver Linings Broadcast.
This week, amidst the ongoing Black Lives Matter protests, we saw some moments that really inspired us. So far, there's been a lot of anger, a lot of unrest and disappointment. However, we also saw love, kindness, and the human spirit shine.
Carrie Ann and Michael Gordon, a young couple from Philadelphia, hadn't planned to march out of their wedding and into a protest, but that's exactly what happened. They had planned a smaller outdoor ceremony because their larger one got canceled due to COVID-19, but they didn't account for the protests. They went ahead with it anyways and began this new chapter of their life with strength and compassion.
Protests in Minneapolis, a center for low-income housing realized that there are still people who suffer from a shortage of food now more than ever. So they put out a call to the community asking for any food donations that will help, and the response has been incredible. They got so many donations that it became a distribution center for anyone who needs food to have access to it.
To whoever wants it, so tell everybody, anybody who needs food, come down here and take as much as they can use. We're now a distribution site. We'd like people to take this in the next 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. So free food for anybody who needs it. Or wants it. We just post in the social media, let people know who are in need to come down and eat.
It truly strengthens our faith in humanity when we see stories like these emerge. And I think it's really important for a lot of us to remember that kindness like this still exists.
Speaking of which, a group of Seneca College grads and professors came together to create the Social Service Worker Gerontology Response Team. This team helps seniors throughout the GTA feel a little less lonely during this current pandemic. They do this by talking to them on the phone, playing games with them, and helping them with music.
Hi there, this is Jessica from the SSWG Response Team.
Bring in the Social Service Worker Gerontology Response Team. It's a group of Seneca students, alumni, and teachers around the GTA ready to ease the isolation of seniors, whether in their own home or long-term care, with a conversation.
Having that phone call to somebody that doesn't get to see their family daily or doesn't get to talk to somebody daily is something that is just going to help somebody push them forward for the rest of the day.
Okay, so for our social media story of the week, what are you doing?
Oh, it's a new TikTok trend. Just splash yourself.
I don't think that's how it's supposed to be done.
No? How do you do it then? Hey! Hey! Okay, you know what?
Hey! TikTok is so fun.
Okay, so in case you haven't guessed already, this week's social media trend is throwing water on people's faces.
So you're supposed to bring somebody unsuspecting into the frame while the song plays, and without any warning, throw water at them and act as if it were an accident.
I made no sense.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. What you doing with that? Yeah. Oh. What you doing with that? What you doing with that?
We don't really know how or why this trend started, but it's really funny and it's really hot outside, so maybe we could all use it.
So, other than splashing water on yourself, what have you been up to?
Okay, so this week I picked up a book called A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. It is a fantasy novel that is inspired by West African folklore. It follows the story of two characters who are pretty much out to kill each other for their own reasons and purposes, but eventually they get entangled in political intrigue and a bunch of other stuff that I can't really tell you about without spoiling the book, and you should really read this book. But they end up having to work with each other instead of against each other to achieve their goals. And the book itself is steeped in so much magic and myth, and the setting is so well done. The writing is just beautiful. I would recommend it to anyone who likes fantasy novels. Honestly, it's so good. And it is written by a Black author and features two main characters who are also Black. And it is so rare to find that in the fantasy genre. So honestly, I think we should find more of these gems and elevate these voices so that we can all read and recognize the amazing work that these authors are doing, especially if it's so good. You should read it. Go read it. Go read it now.
I've been watching a show on Netflix called Dear White People. It's based on a movie that came out in 2014, and it follows a group of students of color at a predominantly white Ivy League college. It shows the cultural biases, the social injustices, the activism, and the politics that the students are faced with. But it does it with irony and self-deprecation and humor and brutal honesty.
Miss White. Her rhetoric makes this campus look like a powder keg, a racial unrest, like a state school.
How did we get here? Who hurt you?
Well, 200 years.
Slavery, got it, right. Sorry I asked.
2017, I can't believe something like this can happen.
It's almost like you and I attend two separate schools.
I've also revisited the podcast The Nod. It aims to tell the stories about Black life that don't get told anywhere else. The hosts, Brittany and Eric, have such great chemistry and banter, and I just really enjoy their style of storytelling. If you're looking for an episode to check out, I would recommend their episode about the show Watchmen.
Watchmen is one of the most astute, honest commentaries on race in America that I've seen in a long time. And I'm so excited about that because there's no other show better suited to discuss Watchmen than this one. From Gimlet Media, this is The Nod, a podcast about Black culture from Blackness's biggest fans.
Yet again, we'd like to thank John Krasinski and the Some Good News show for inspiring us to spread the good vibes. If imitation is the highest form of flattery, we are going to continue to flatter the heck out of SGN again and again. And we'll keep thanking you because you inspired this show.
And thank you once again to everyone who's doing their part during this pandemic and taking care of one another. We are flattening the curve, and that is excellent news. So remember to stay safe, stay healthy, maintain social distancing, and of course, always look for the silver linings. Thank you for watching.